this chapter, this is to talk about the wage that pay the business. Well, the business wants the best for the business, for the companies. So they have to pay good money to employees. In the text, call it deficiency wage. That is, if I pay more, the employers will go to our more better employers. They is searching they are better.
Okay, in the last chapter, sorry, my name is Natalia. In the last chapter, according to a classical view of the market, supply and demand always balance like a labor field, where labor supply is the number of workers willing to work at a given wage, and the labor demand is the number of jobs offered at a given wage. In those cases, supply equals demand, and the market is in equilibrium, because buyers and sellers find each other immediately. But when this doesn't happen, it called search friction, and begin to practice the search theory to investigate these frictions. But in the case of people that are looking for a job, they have to invest time and money to find it, because it isn't free. In the 1960s, U.S. economist George Stigler argued that to conduct an optimal search, workers should reject any wage lower than the reserve. Well, sorry, fine. George Stigler argued that to conduct an optimal search, workers should reject any wage lower than the reservation wage. The reservation wage is the lowest they are willing to accept. But workers have to accept any offer above.
Okay, very good.
Good afternoon. So we are the third team, and today we're going to talk about 4 chapters of the economics book. So let's start.
Okay, I'm going to read the chapter Employment is no choice. Okay, this chapter talks about unemployment for the perspective of the general theory proposed by John Maynard Keynes in 1936. The general theory was important because it forced the people to see the economy from a new perspective. Special science theory has been viewed the same way for over 100 years. Before Keynes, the market was something balanced between different economies and decisions market, which would naturally correct itself in case of imbalance with those wants to work having employment. Keynes, a classic economic, stated unemployed was always a choice, since there were always jobs available. But workers did not want always a choice, this just because the pay is low wage. The problem was in short time, and the price fell, and the value of wages arise as a consequence. Demand decreased, fear underproduction, and the workers are stuck in employment. Therefore, unemployment is not a choice.
My name is José Armando.
Armando qué?
Patiño. While years understood back the chapter is day, vision the main subsidiary economy action and economic force employed from the value industry and by export. And by applying economic theory one day for satisfied subjects employment solution and the product report was helped manage big decision.
Okay, my name is Nicolas Santos. I'm going to explain to you the chapter number 3. It's GDP ignores women. As we know, GDP is the gross domestic product, and basically it is a summary of the economic activity of a specific country over a whole year. But following the text, it has a couple of problems and limits on how it is calculated and what it includes. And one of the biggest problems in how the work is performed by a woman on her household is not correctly valued, because the GDP system just calculates household incomes or the rate of employment. But being a housewife is not paid, so it doesn't enter into the GDP. So it means that the value of work performed by a woman is underestimated in our conventional system. I'm also going to explain business pay more than the market wage. Like the company is trying to pay the employee the amount of the salary that they think that is deserved for him. The situation is that sometimes the employer just pay more than the usual just because they want to keep the workers not just happy, they don't want to make them think that they have an easy job. They want to make them think like this job is valued, it's going to be important for them, and they are not going to get relaxed. So that is the reason they are paying more than the usual, and that is the reason they increase the salary.
Okay, so my name is Valeria, and I'm going to talk about the chapter called Finding a Job is like finding a partner or a house. So the author begins giving context about what those traditional economics fundamentals say about the legitimate process of like finding a job. And to begin, economists, like old school economics, assume that finding a job is so easy, like it is just there, and like employees just have like all the information in their hands, like just to find the job they want. But in reality, finding a job costs time, and that time is like it has like somehow a value, like it costs like every hour or every minute you're not working, you're stopping, like you're just stopping like producing money. So it has a cost for them. So what the author says is like finding a job is like finding a new house, due to the fact that the problem is made worse if each search costs time and money, and this is why there are search frictions. Search frictions are like the moment when buyers and sellers don't automatically find each other, and for that economists have gradually like developed something called search theory. In that search theory, they say like people, employees have like assumed like a kind of salary they want. Like I want to find a job. See? Yes. So I want to find a job like in 1 million pesos, and I'm not going to accept anything below that. A job, see? Yes. So I want to find a job like in 1 million pesos, and I'm not going to accept anything below that. So I won't accept anything below that, but I will accept everything like above that. So what happens in the market? The market, like sometimes there are so many job vacancies because there are jobs that are not like that well paid, and employees are just not going to take them. So that is why finding a job is like finding a partner or a house.
Fifth chapter of the economist book. My group is Santiago Acuña, Jason Fabián Rodríguez, Juan Felipe Larrota, and myself, Juan Manuel Vázquez. The fifth chapter that we are going to present will be GDP, Ignorance Women, and will be exposed both by Juan Felipe Larrota.
Okay, my name is Juan Felipe Larrota. About the chapter in GDP in North Women. In this chapter, the author tells about gross domestic product as a summary measure of a country's economic activity during a defined time. Everything purchased and sold is recorded in the GDP in order to collect all the economic transactions of the country. And the author explained as a big problem of the GDP. All the economic activity of a country is not only in its purchase and sales length, but it excludes many activities which are not commercial but have value. And this is associated with the cases of the activities carried out by the housewives, and which are necessary jobs for the reproduction of the labor force, but that not being registered in the paid economy do not enter into the GDP calculation. This is due to the huge gender bias implicit in national accounts that underestimates the true economic value of women's works. And in addition, the chapter shows how GDP doesn't take into account the depletion of natural resources, only explain what is happening with the chapter shows how GDP doesn't take into account the depletion of natural resources, only explain what is happening with the products in terms of the market, but it doesn't explain the resources that are running out in order to obtain those products or the secondary effect that these have with the environment. Effects such as deforestation, loss of biodiversity, or the deterioration of public health.
My name is Jason Rodriguez. The topic is business pay more than the market rate. The test is markets and firms. During a results, USA car manufacturer Henry Ford announces that he is doubling the pay of his workers to $5 a day. British economist Albert Marshall suggests the idea of efficient wage. The Fair Labor Standards Act introduced a minimum wage in the USA after Carl Shapiro and Joseph suggest that efficient wage discouraged Churchill. the Model T motor car on Henry Ford's revolutionary assembly line. One of British economist, Albert Marshall, suggests the idea of efficient ways. The Fair Labor Standards Act introduced a minimum wage in the USA after Carl Shapiro and Joseph suggest that efficient ways discourage Churchill. The Model T motor car on Henry Ford's revolutionary assembly line. One of Ford's insignificant ways to realize that his one workers should also be his best customers.
My name is Juan Vázquez, and the following two chapters, workers must employ their lot together, and unemployment is not a choice and will present them for me. This chapter talks about a new term which is collective bargaining, and that was coined by the British socialist reformer Beatrice Webb in 1891 to explain how workers organize themselves into unions to negotiate with employers on behalf of workers. With her husband, Sidney, campaign against poverty and the goods products change and the governmental level. Collective bargaining was widely adopted because it is beneficial for both employers and workers. For employers, it is beneficial because it simplifies the work of applying certain conditions to your entire company. However, since the 1980s, unions and the power of collective bargaining have been drastically reduced. The American economist Milton Friedman argued that unionization has higher salaries to affiliates and the expense of jobs and the base wage in industries that are not unionized. The globalization of production has also isolated groups of workers within countries. The terms under which they work locally do not be throughout the country. The next chapter is unemployment is not a choice. To talk about the subject fields, we must talk about John Maynard Keynes. He was born in June 5th. M model. New modern interpretations of Keynes' work suggest that companies keep their workers' wage so as not to reduce productivity and prevent the abandonment of the employees, thus providing an explanation for rigid wages. Keynesianism was discredited in the 1970s due to the resurrection of classical ideas, which once again denied to the possibility of persistent involuntary unemployment. The American economist Robert Lucas was one of the leaders of the assault on Keynesianism. This explains that workers always have the option to work or not. Keynes would probably agree with the economist Joseph Stiglitz, who said that during the Great Depression in the US, it could be said that the unemployment could have migrated west to California to pick fruit and the farm. However, he also says that the classical theory suggests that there is nothing more to than those sympathies with the unemployed because of their bad look. It would be better not to consult the theory at all.
Okay.
I'm going to talk about finding a job is like finding a partner or a house. So basically the chapter says that according to the classical view of the market, buyers and sellers always find each other immediately, without cost. But in reality, as we know, it's not like that. And this creates search frictions where buyers and sellers do not find each other easily. So to explain these search frictions, economists developed the search theory. And one of the main focuses of this theory is on job searches and unemployment. The classical model of labor market has a labor supply schedule, which is the number of workers willing to work at a given wage, and labor demand schedule, which is the number of jobs offered at a given wage. And when these schedules match each other, the market is in equilibrium. In order for this to happen, there has to be no cost, but a market where products are all different, searching costs money, and the greater the difference of the schedule is, the greater the cost will be. George Stigler search showed that to employment. The classical model of labor market has a labor supply schedule, which is the number of workers willing to work at a given wage, and labor demand schedule, which is the number of jobs offered at a given wage. And when these schedules match each other, the market is in equilibrium. In order for this to happen, there has to be no cost, but a market where products are all different, searching costs money, and the greater the difference of the schedule is, the greater the cost will be. George Stigler search showed that to conduct an optional search, workers should reject any wage lower than the reservation wage, but accept any wage above it.
Okay.
Okay, good afternoon. My name is Nicolas. My group is conformed by Nicolas and Aleja. Today we're talking about the Economist book, and specifically about 3 chapters. So we are going to start, so let's proceed.
Okay, I'm going to talk about, I'm Arboleda, and I'm going to talk about business pay more than market wage. Okay? So the text states that it's more efficient for companies to pay more than the market salary, because that increases the productivity of employers. This is because employers do not want to risk losing their jobs because the employment rate is very high. Paying higher rates will also help employers to have high morale and be healthier. The text raises the example of Henry Ford, who increased the productivity of his company, raising salaries of employees. And that's it.
My name is Nicolas Castañeda, the chapter GDP Knowledge Woman. The chapter talks about the society and the economy. Gross domestic product, the summary of economic activity for one whole year. Domestic economy includes things like household employment to normal expense, but have some problems. Number 1, how is calculated? The only source is economic transaction. Everything that has been sold good should be registered. The national economy is not only one is all around, is not accurate. Some examples of the transaction we are not considered on GDP are childcare, house work, and house expenses that usually are around then be one.
Okay, now we are going to talk about the last chapter that is called Finding a Job is like finding a partner or a house. First of all, we're going to make a timeline that goes from 1944 till 1994. First of all, we have here about the British policeman William Berbers that it states that till highest is the employment, the highest are the lowest. First of all, we have here about the British policeman William Berbers that it states that till highest is the employment, the highest are the lowest vacancies of a job. Then, after that, about 1971, we got the Peter Diamond that says that even employment can reach to skilled workers. In these 3 points, then we came here when our author, that's called George Stigler, states that even if we have the intention to get a job, it is not that easy. So first of all, that he states that if we are going to get a job, we need to get first an average of payment that we need to do. After that, we are going to go to the market. Once we are on the market, we need to find a job that is up this average. Stigler says that we are not allowed or we should not accept any job beneath this and every job above this. Pretty much it is the theory that states that finding a job is like finding a new partner or a car. So this was our exposition, and I think.